Ladies and gentlemen, life has a way of testing us. There are moments when everything seems to fall apart, plans fail, relationships break, and uncertainty surrounds us. In those very moments, our strength isn't proven by how loud we speak or how much we resist, but in how deeply we trust and how patiently we endure. Let's explore 5 key points that can guide us when trials come our way. Number 1. Trust in God's timing. There are moments in life when we feel lost in the waiting. The days stretch longer, the nights feel heavier, and no matter how hard we try, it seems like nothing is changing. We pray, we hope, we hold on, and still, the breakthrough doesn't come. It's in these moments that trusting in God's timing becomes not just a phrase we repeat, but a powerful act of faith. Trusting in God's timing means surrendering control. As humans, we naturally want things to happen on our schedule. We make plans, set goals, and create timelines, but life rarely follows our script. When delays happen, we often assume something is wrong. We think we're being punished or that we've failed somehow. But in truth, delay is not denial. A pause doesn't mean abandonment. Sometimes the waiting period is the most important part of the journey. It's the space where we grow, where we learn to depend not on our own understanding, but on a greater plan that we may not yet see. There's a reason the timing isn't always immediate. Imagine giving a seed to the soil and demanding it grow overnight. It's not just impossible, it's unreasonable. Every beautiful thing in nature takes time to develop. The same is true for your life. Growth, healing, progress, these things don't happen all at once. They take time, and that time is sacred. It's during the wait that character is built. It's during the quiet seasons that strength is formed. We learn patience not by being handed what we want, but by holding on even when we can't see the outcome. Trusting God's timing is not passive. It doesn't mean we sit back and do nothing. It means we move forward with faith, even when the road ahead isn't clear. It means doing the right thing day after day, even when the results don't come quickly. It's working hard, praying consistently, and living with hope, not because we see the reward now, but because we believe the reward will come at the right time. And that trust makes all the difference. There are times when God delays certain things in our lives because we are not yet ready for them. We might think we are, but He sees what we cannot. He knows the battles we aren't prepared to fight yet. He sees the weight of the blessings we're asking for, and He knows whether our shoulders are strong enough to carry them. Sometimes, what we think is a delay is actually protection. Sometimes, what we call rejection is actually redirection. And often when we look back, we realize that the things we were waiting for came exactly when we needed them, not a moment earlier or later. The waiting can be painful. It can feel like silence, like being forgotten. But God is never inactive. Even in the waiting, He is working. He is preparing the right people, opening the right doors, and shaping your heart for what's to come. You might not see it now, but one day it will all make sense. One day you'll look back and thank Him for the no's, for the delays, for the moments you almost gave up because they led you to something better than you could have imagined. Trusting in God's timing also brings peace. When you truly believe that everything is happening according to a divine schedule, you stop living in anxiety. You stop comparing your journey to others. You stop rushing. You begin to breathe again. You begin to enjoy the present, knowing that what's meant for you is already on its way. You no longer have to fight against time. Instead, you walk with time, in sync with a purpose greater than your own. We live in a world that glorifies speed, fast results, instant success, immediate gratification. But spiritual growth, deep fulfillment, and lasting change are never instant. They are cultivated over time. Trust is built in the slow moments, faith deepens in the long seasons, and God's promises are often fulfilled in quiet, unseen ways. So if you're in a season of waiting right now, waiting for healing, for answers, for breakthrough, for purpose, hold on. Don't rush the process. Don't force the outcome. Let go of the need to control everything and rest in the truth that what is meant for you will never miss you. Keep doing what you can and trust that God is doing what only He can. You may not understand the timing today, but one day you will. One day you'll see how every delay led you to something better. One day you'll realize that you were never waiting in vain, The path may be unclear, but the promise still stands. And when the time is right, not by your clock, but by His, everything will fall into place. Trust in that. Trust in Him. Trust in the timing. Number 2. Silence is strength, not weakness. Silence is often misunderstood. In a world that values loud opinions, quick reactions, and constant noise, being silent can be seen as a sign of weakness, as if silence means you've got nothing to say, or you're too afraid to speak. But true silence, the kind that comes from wisdom and inner strength, is anything but weak. It's a powerful response that often speaks louder than words ever could. When you choose silence during conflict or misunderstanding, it doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're rising above. It means you've decided not to waste your energy proving something to someone who may never understand you. It's easy to react, to defend yourself, to shout back when you're hurt or wronged. But it takes real strength to remain calm, composed, and quiet when everything inside you wants to fight back. That's not weakness, that's control, maturity, and dignity. People often think that being loud is the only way to show confidence. But confidence doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it doesn't need to speak at all. There's a unique kind of confidence that lives in those who know their value, who trust their truth, and who don't feel the need to argue to be right. Silence becomes their shield not because they're hiding, but because they've learned that not every battle is worth fighting. Not every opinion deserves a reaction. Not every insult needs a reply. Silence also gives you space to think, space to breathe, space to respond with wisdom instead of reacting with emotion. When you stay silent, you protect your peace. You give yourself the chance to understand what's really happening, to observe rather than be consumed by the chaos around you. It's in that stillness that clarity is born. You begin to see things more clearly. You begin to act with intention instead of impulse. There's also power in being silent in moments of pain. Sometimes the deepest pain cannot be put into words, and in those moments, silence becomes a language of its own. It speaks of strength, of endurance, of holding on even when everything inside you is breaking. It shows that you don't need to explain your suffering to be valid. You don't need to be loud to be strong. Your silence can carry your story, your faith, and your healing. Being silent doesn't mean you have nothing to say. It means you know when to speak and when not to. That kind of discernment is rare. The world is filled with noise, and most of it is unnecessary. Everyone has something to say, and often they speak without thinking. But when you practice silence, you begin to speak only when your words have weight. Your voice carries more meaning because it isn't wasted on every passing moment. People begin to notice when you speak because they know you don't do it carelessly. There's also an elegance in silence. It commands respect. When you refuse to lower yourself to gossip, to arguments, to drama, people notice. You set a higher standard. You show that strength isn't about dominating others or winning every debate. It's about mastering yourself. It's about knowing that silence is not a void, it's a choice. And it's a choice that reflects inner stability, not fear. Silence can also be a way of honoring something sacred. In moments of grief, in moments of awe, in moments of deep reflection, silence is often the most appropriate response. It shows reverence. It shows depth. Some of life's most profound moments are experienced not through words, but through silence. When you're standing at the edge of something meaningful, whether it's loss, love, or transformation, silence becomes your companion, not your enemy. It's important to remember that silence is not suppression. It's not about hiding your voice forever or allowing yourself to be mistreated. It's about choosing your moments wisely. There's a time to speak, to stand up, to express, to fight for truth, and there's a time to be still, to wait, and to let things unfold without interference. Knowing the difference is what makes you powerful. Silence is strength because it allows you to stay in control. When others are losing themselves in anger or pride, your silence becomes a mirror to their chaos. It reflects your discipline, your grace, and your ability to stay grounded. It shows that you don't let circumstances control you, you control your response. And that control is not a weakness. It's one of the greatest strengths you can ever possess. So the next time you're tempted to speak just to be heard, or to react just to prove a point, pause, breathe, stay silent. Let your silence speak volumes. Let it show that your strength doesn't come from how loud you are, but from how deeply you've learned to listen, to reflect, and to respond with intention. Because in the end, silence, when chosen with wisdom, is not weakness. It's power. Number 3. Trials refine, not define you. Life is full of trials, unexpected challenges, heartbreaks, disappointments, and setbacks that seem to hit us when we least expect them. In those moments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to wonder if we're being punished or forgotten. It's easy to think that the pain we're experiencing has become our identity. But the truth is, trials refine you, they don't define you. They shape you, but they do not label you. What you go through is part of your journey, not the definition of who you are. Everyone faces struggles. No one is exempt. But what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck is the mindset they carry through their trials. Some people let pain harden them. Others let it grow them. The difference lies in the belief that your current suffering is not your final story. You may be going through a storm, but you are not the storm. You may feel broken, but you are not beyond repair. The situation you're in right now is temporary, but the strength you gain from it will last forever. When you're in the middle of a trial, everything feels intense and magnified. It's like walking through fire. But what does fire do to precious metals? It purifies them. It burns away the impurities and brings out their true value. That's what trials do to you. They reveal your resilience. They bring out parts of you that you never knew existed: patience, courage, endurance, wisdom. These qualities don't surface when life is easy. They grow in the hard seasons. They emerge when you have to fight, adapt, and keep moving forward despite the pain. It's easy to label yourself by what has happened to you, to think, I'm a failure, I'm unlucky, I'm broken, I'm not enough. But those are not your truths. They are reactions to difficult moments. They are emotions, not your identity. You are more than your lowest point. You are more than the mistake you made, the loss you suffered, or the situation that broke you. That moment might have refined your perspective, deepened your empathy, or taught you a painful lesson, but it doesn't get to define your worth. Sometimes, the very things we think are destroying us are actually rebuilding us in a stronger way. Trials don't just test you, they teach you. They show you what matters. They strip away the distractions and force you to confront your true self. They humble you, challenge you, and change you. And if you allow them to, they make you better. They give you depth. They give you purpose. They give you a story that can inspire others who are walking through their own fire. You don't need to pretend the trials don't hurt. You don't need to put on a brave face all the time. It's okay to feel, to cry, to question. Strength doesn't mean being numb. It means continuing even when you feel like giving up. It means rising even when life keeps trying to knock you down. It means believing that there's more to your life than this moment of pain. That's where true refinement happens, not in the absence of struggle, but in the persistence through it. And remember, even in the fire, you are not alone. There's something greater working on your behalf. There's purpose in the pain, even if you can't see it yet. One day, you'll look back and understand why certain things had to happen. You'll see how the trial shaped your character, sharpened your focus, and led you to something you couldn't have reached without it. You'll see how the fire didn't destroy you, it revealed your strength. What defines you is how you respond, how you rise, how you choose to keep going when everything tells you to quit. It's in those quiet decisions, those painful prayers, those unseen battles, that's where your true character is formed. You are not your failure. You are not your pain. You are the strength that rose out of it. You are the wisdom that grew from it. You are the courage that kept moving forward. So when you find yourself in the middle of a trial, remind yourself that this is not your end. This is a chapter, not your entire story. You are being refined. You are being prepared for something greater. Let the fire do its work, but don't let it define your identity. You are more than this moment, and your future is brighter than the pain you're walking through. Keep going, keep believing. Let the trial refine you, but never let it define you. Number 4. Stay grounded in faith. Staying grounded in faith is one of the most powerful decisions a person can make, especially in a world full of chaos, confusion, and constant change. Life is unpredictable. One moment everything seems to be going well, and the next, you're caught in a storm you never saw coming. In those moments, it's easy to lose your footing, to become anxious, to start questioning everything. But when you're grounded in faith, you're not easily shaken. You may bend, but you won't break. You may feel fear, but you won't be ruled by it. Faith gives you roots, deep, unshakable roots that hold you steady when everything else is falling apart. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting even when the answers haven't come. It's about believing there's a greater plan even when you can't see how it all fits together. It's about knowing that you are not alone, no matter how dark or silent the path may feel. When you stay grounded in faith, you learn to walk by belief, not by sight. You stop relying only on what you see, hear, or feel in the moment. Instead, you lean on something deeper, a quiet but powerful assurance that there's purpose behind every step, even the painful ones. Being grounded in faith doesn't mean you never struggle. It means that when you struggle, you don't give up. It means you hold on even if it's just by a thread. It means you speak hope to your fear, peace to your worry, and strength to your weakness. You remind yourself that storms may come, but they don't last forever. And even if they rage longer than expected, your foundation remains firm. Because faith isn't built on circumstances, it's built on conviction. Sometimes life will test your faith. You'll go through seasons where nothing makes sense, where prayers feel unanswered and dreams seem delayed. But those are the very moments when staying grounded becomes vital. That's when you dig your roots even deeper, not in fear, but in trust. You remind yourself that growth often happens in the dark, that diamonds are formed under pressure, and that even when it feels like you're standing still, God is still moving. There will be people around you who question your faith, who don't understand why you keep believing when everything looks like it's falling apart. And that's okay. Faith isn't always logical. It's not always visible. But it is real. It's that quiet strength that gets you out of bed when you're weary. It's the calm in your heart when you have every reason to panic. It's the stillness in your soul that whispers, "Keep going. You're not alone." Being grounded in faith also means not letting the world define your identity. In a culture that tells you to chase status, likes, success, and approval, faith reminds you that your worth isn't found in any of those things. You are valuable simply because you are here, created with purpose. Faith brings you back to that truth when everything else tries to pull you away from it. It reminds you that your story is being written by hands greater than your own, and that no mistake, no failure, no delay can erase what's meant for you. When you stay grounded in faith, you begin to see life differently. Challenges become opportunities for growth. Delays become seasons of preparation. Loss becomes a doorway to deeper understanding. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That shift doesn't come from denial, it comes from trust. It comes from knowing that faith isn't a crutch, it's a compass. It guides you when logic fails, when emotions overwhelm, and when the future feels unclear. There is also a quiet confidence that grows when your faith is strong. You don't need to rush, force, or control everything. You learn to rest in the process. You stop comparing your journey to someone else's. You begin to understand that what's meant for you will come, and it will come at the right time. This kind of peace is rare in a world that pushes people to hustle constantly. But faith gives you that peace not because everything is perfect, but because you believe that everything is being worked out for good. And perhaps most importantly, staying grounded in faith makes you a source of light for others. Your strength in difficult times becomes an example. Your ability to stay calm under pressure becomes a testimony. Your refusal to give up becomes inspiration. People begin to see that your strength doesn't come from your circumstances, it comes from something higher. And that silent witness may impact more lives than you'll ever know. So even when the winds blow hard and the storms try to uproot you, stay grounded. Anchor yourself in faith. Hold on when it's hard. Keep believing when it's silent. Keep trusting when it's unclear. Because faith is not just about waiting for the light, it's about being the light while you wait. You may not always understand the journey, but when your heart is grounded in faith, you'll always have the strength to keep moving forward. Number 5. Let God fight the hidden battles. There are battles in life that no one else can see. They're the quiet struggles of the heart, the anxious thoughts that keep you awake at night, the disappointments you hide behind a smile, the deep wounds that you never speak about. These battles don't show up in public, and most people around you may never know they exist. But you do. You carry them every day in your silence, in your thoughts, in the moments when you're alone. And sometimes it feels like you're fighting a war with no strength left. That's when the most powerful thing you can do is step back and let God fight the hidden battles. Letting God fight your battles doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're handing them over to someone who sees more than you do, who knows the whole story, the beginning, the middle, and the end. It means you're trusting that you don't have to fix everything on your own, that you don't need to carry every burden or solve every problem. There's a deep kind of strength in surrender, not surrender in defeat, but surrender in faith. It's saying, God, I don't know how to handle this, but I know you do. The truth is, some battles are too heavy for human hands. They go deeper than logic, deeper than action. They're spiritual, emotional, internal. They require a kind of healing and breakthrough that only God can provide. When you try to fight those battles on your own, you exhaust yourself. You worry endlessly. You replay conversations. You overthink. You try to control outcomes that were never in your control to begin with. And all that effort leads to more frustration, more fear, more emptiness. But when you release those hidden battles to God, something changes. You shift your focus from the weight of the problem to the strength of the one who can carry it. You move from anxiety to peace, not because the battle is over, but because you've placed it in hands far more capable than yours. You begin to realize that silence doesn't mean absence, delays don't mean denial, and even when nothing seems to be happening, God is working behind the scenes in ways you can't see. There's a deep comfort in knowing that God sees everything. He sees the people who misunderstood you. He sees the moments you cried alone. He sees the injustices, the betrayals, the silent heartbreaks. And not one tear, not one pain goes unnoticed. Sometimes you don't have to fight to be seen, heard, or understood because God already sees it all. And in His timing, He brings justice, healing, and restoration. Letting God fight your battles is also a practice of trust. It's trusting His plan even when it doesn't look like your own. It's trusting His timing even when you feel like things are taking too long. It's trusting His wisdom even when you don't understand what's happening. And it's trusting His love, believing that He's for you, not against you, that He wants to see you whole, healed, and walking in peace. There will be times when you feel like you need to defend yourself, prove your worth, or retaliate against those who wronged you. But sometimes the most powerful response is no response, not because you're weak, but because you know the battle isn't yours to fight. It belongs to God, and when He fights for you, no one can stand against Him. He sees what you can't. He knows what you don't, and He works in ways that are far greater than anything you could imagine. There's a verse that says, "Be still and know that I am God." Being still doesn't mean doing nothing. It means resting in the assurance that God is in control. It means finding peace even in the waiting. It means letting go of the need to always have an answer or solution. When you let God take over, you free yourself from the pressure of playing a role you were never meant to carry alone. You give space for miracles to happen, for hearts to change, for doors to open, for wounds to heal. And the beauty of it all is that God doesn't just fight the battle, He walks with you through it. He strengthens you while you wait. He whispers peace when the storm rages. He builds your character, your patience, your faith. He turns what was meant to break you into the very thing that builds you. And when the battle is over, because it will end, you'll look back and see His fingerprints all over your story. So if you're carrying hidden battles today, take a deep breath, let go, lay them down, trust that you don't have to face them alone. Let God fight for you. Let Him go before you, beside you, and behind you. He hasn't forgotten you. He's not ignoring your pain. He's working even now in ways you can't yet see. And when his work is revealed, it will be greater than anything you could have done on your own. Let that truth settle into your soul. Let God fight the hidden battles and find your peace in him. So the next time life becomes heavy, when trials come uninvited, remember this: trust in God, stay silent. Let your peace be your protest, and your faith be your fire. Because in the end, those who trust even in silence always rise stronger. Thank you,